The Father of Datagram, Internet Pioneer. Louis Pouzin was born in 1931 in a village in central France. He invented the datagram and designed an early packet communication network. His main work was with the Cyclades, which was a computer network project that he helped create and lead. Thrilled by the potential of computerization, Mr. Pouzin moved to Bull, IBM's French competitor in the 1950s, crafting applications for the Gamma 60, a temperamental machine, but the rigors of the job and Bull's partnership with RCA, an American company, exposed the limits of his skills. He recalls, "I realized that if I didn't learn to program or speak English, I couldn't have a career in computing." In 1960s, Mr. Pouzin moved his young family to America. Mr. Pouzin created a program called RuneCom that helped the users automate tedious and repetitive commands, which he described as a shell or in the computer's working innards, which gave inspiration and a name to an entire class of software tools called command line shells. In the 1960s, France's politicians launched an ambitious plan to boost the country's computing industry. In 1971, they challenged IRIA to begin research into a national computer network. Mr. Pouzin was asked to lead the project, which became known as the Cyclades. Mr. Pouzin edited and contributed to a book called the Cyclades Computer Network. The computer network was developed under government sponsorship in France between 1972 and 1975 to link about 20 heterogeneous computers located in universities, research centers, and data processing centers. Mr. Pouzin visited American universities to learn more about ARPANET, a network funded by the military and which relied on a promising new technique called packet switching to deliver data from one machine to another. Cutting up all communication into small packets of fixed size and allowing it to relay packets to each other meant that there was no need for a direct link between computers on the network, reducing the cost and increasing the resilience of the network. If a network link failed, packets could take a different path. To Mr. Pouzin, ARPANET seemed overdesigned and inefficient. Every computer required a lot of hardware to link it to the network, because ARPANET's design included a connection setup phase in which a path across the network was established for communication between two computers. Packets were then delivered in order along this path. Mr. Pouzin's team came up with a more flexible, efficient way to do things. They suggested that each packet should be labeled and delivered as an individual message called a datagram. A datagram is an independent, self-contained message sent over the network. On ARPANET, strings of packets traveled in one line, traveling in strict order from one station to another. On Cyclades, packets were individual like birds, each of which could travel independently to its destination. The receiving computer, not the network, would then juggle the packets back into order and request transmission of any packets lost in transit. The system's simplicity made it easier to link up different networks. The first Cyclades connection between Paris and Grenoble debuted in 1973, closely watched by Dr. Cerf and Dr. Kahn, two American scientists. They built on Mr. Pouzin's idea of datagram-based approach so that concepts from Cyclades found their way to the TCP/IP suite of protocols on which the modern internet now runs. 20 years after the government junked Cyclades, Maurice Allegre, Mr. Pouzin's former boss and ally, was still mourning the decision. "We could have been pioneers on the network," he wrote in 1999. "Now we are only its users, far from those who decide its future." In 2013, Mr. Pouzin was one of 5 Internet and Web pioneers awarded the inaugural Queen Elizabeth Prize for Engineering. Mr. Pouzin finally got the recognition that he deserves.